What's up, guys? It's Scotty here with Flat Track Flashback, and just wanted to hop on real quick and do some sort of like last-minute notes before the Daytona Short Track begins this week on Thursday and Friday, and we get the Progressive American Flat Track season off and running here in 2025. Last week, we put out our AFT Singles preview show and talked about some of the contenders in that class and who looks to take hold of the 450 championship. And we also dove into the AFT Super Twins preview as well, talking to a bunch of riders back at Winter Throwdown. And I appreciate every single rider that chatted with us so that we can incorporate some of their thoughts into those preview videos. I hope you guys have had a chance to watch those and enjoy some of that. As we've gotten closer to Daytona, there's been a lot of cool stuff that's come out here closer to the start of the season. And so we wanted to dive into a couple of those storylines and just get a quick little video out before the season gets underway. Three-time and defending champion Cody Kopp is coming back to run a 450 at Daytona. He is going to compete in the opening rounds of the 2025 Progressive American Flat Track AFT Singles season. Cody's won 3 of the last 4 races at Daytona. He was bested by Tom Drain on the second night last year, and Cody's going to be bringing that #1 plate to the grid. Is it possible that he comes out of Daytona still the points leader? It definitely could be. Cody's been so good at that track. He hasn't finished worse than second in any of the races that he's contested there the past couple of years, and looks super strong at Winter Throwdown in the 1v1. And even though Cody's been training and testing for that Moto America debut later in the month of March, he's still going to come back and join us at the Daytona Short Track and mix it up with the best in the 450 class. So be awesome to see Cody back out on the track, and just adds a little more star power to that 450 class that's shaping up to be really, really interesting. Another past winner on the track, a guy who's won on a production twin there. He's coming out of retirement. The Bear is out of hibernation. Corey Texter going to come back and contest the Super Twins class. Really cool memorial number there, running the 168. It's cool to see Corey going to come back out and contest this. And again, we mentioned he's found success in the production twins class at that facility back in 2020, and hopping back on a Yamaha here in the Super Twins class and looking to find some success there at the Super Twins level. Corey's been a podium finisher on mile tracks in that Super Twins class, won several production twins events, and now that the twins class as a whole has gone more production based, you have to imagine that he's got a pretty good shot to get right up in there in the mix, potentially for a win in that class, especially with all the moving parts that have happened in this offseason. Guys still trying to get comfortable on new rides. It'll be fun to see Corey back out there. Mixing it up in the Super Twins class, again, adding just another element, another new story for the class to start the 2025 season. We also saw on the entry list Henry Wiles coming back. Wiles has found success at Daytona on a 450 in the past, and Wiles going to be breaking out of Kawasaki to come out to the Daytona Short Track and hop back into the Twins class. Henry's career best in that Super Twins class was when he was aboard an Indian in 2018, when he was the runner-up to Jared Mees in the championship. And arguably Jared Mees' most successful year of his career, that 2018 season when Mees was just so dominant, but Henry was able to come home second that year. Again, aboard an Indian, which is no longer in the grid anymore, but Henry's going to hop on a Kawasaki. And again, with Henry's found success on a 450 on a single cylinder bike at that Daytona Short Track. And we'll see what all these guys on Kawasaki's are able to accomplish down there. But yeah, definitely adding some star power in addition to the title favorites that are going to be down there this week in the twins and the singles class. A rider that I thought might be going singles racing, moving up into the twins class, is Logan Eisenhard. He's going to contest it on a Kawasaki in the twins class down there at the Daytona Short Track. Logan was super impressive that second night at Daytona last year, coming home with a top 5 finish and his best of his career in the singles class. Thought maybe he might stick with that, but he's got an opportunity to run a twin, and Logan going to join James Ott as a rookie, and the likes of Trent Lowe and Justin Jones moving up to that class among just some of the riders that you'll see down there. We've also seen Ryan Wells is added to the singles entry list. Ryan has found success on a 450 in the past, and though his past couple of years haven't probably been what Wells would hope for, we've gotten to see him run a little bit during the offseason, and we'll see what Ryan can do when he returns to the Daytona Short Track aboard a 450 this year. There have been a couple of races at the time of recording this. I'm actually recording this on Sunday, March the 2nd. So before I head off into the studio to do some World of Outlaws production, I was able to follow along a little bit with some of the racing that's gone on. Caught the Fans Choice broadcast from Waycross, Georgia last night, and what looked like a pretty difficult track to get a hold of for a lot of these riders. Also noticed that the RPM event on Friday out at Lakeview Speedway, the track looked pretty cool. Rider turnout a bit low. Looks like Justin Jones took home a big win out there riding his 450. Rider counts increased for the Steve Nace race down at Waycross, Georgia. In fact, a lot of countries represented. You got riders from the U.S., Canada, Argentina, Brazil, and Australia in the house. And the 40-plus class at Waycross there on that All-Star night had, we had multiple nations fighting for the lead. You had Greg Boyle repping for the U.S., you had Phil Little repping for Canada, and Damian Pablo Sosa, who was out of Argentina. Those three dicing it up front. Probably the most exciting race of the night. Really fun battle there in the 40-plus class there at the All-Star event that saw Sosa end up taking home the victory with a late race pass, getting ahead of Boyle and to take home the 40-plus victory. Also that night, we got to see the Turner Racing team have a really successful performance. Trevor Bruner and Walker Porter went 1-2 in the All-Star Singles in the Pro-Am class, and Bruner and Porter were up there by the wall in 1 and 2, riding just a really exciting line to watch as a fan from at home. Probably a little nervy if you're a rider at that racetrack, but that track pretty rough down low throughout the night. But those two guys putting on a show up by the fence. Braden Fanders was able to come home third in those two races. Fanders will be exciting to watch. Has a cool looking new bike that he's going to be contesting this year when he gets a full pull in the singles class. And we also got to see a preview of some of our twins riders on new bikes. You got to see Brandon Robinson out there on the Harley, Dan Bromley on the Suzuki, Trent Lowe on his Honda, Brandon Price on the Yamaha. And it was a pretty fun All-Star Twins main event. Early on, Trent Lowe gets a really good start. Bromley's up there with him, and Trent and Bromley had a brief little slider exchange. Bromley was actually leading this race on that Suzuki up until about halfway when he ran into some troubles, and Trent Lowe's able to inherit the lead, and Trent would go on to take the victory. Again, more success for the Honda camp. You know, Turner Racing helping out that Big Red Super Twins team on this year. So Trent Lowe brings home the victory in the Twins class ahead of Brandon Robinson on the Harley and Brandon Price on the Yamaha. So fun to get a little glimpse into some of these guys on their new machines as we inch closer and closer to Daytona. And with the Daytona Short Track on a Super Twin, at least going back to 2020, we've only had 2 winners at that racetrack. Brandon Robinson has picked up 3 victories, and Dallas Daniels has picked up 3 victories. Brandon swept the event in 2020. Dallas swept it in 2023, with the two of them going 1-1 last year in 2024. So you think they'd be the favorites, but as we've mentioned, there's a lot of new names getting thrown into the hat this year. We did get to see a glimpse of Briar Bauman on an XG on Instagram. So we'll see what his new program is going to be looking like. As we talked about earlier in the show, Corey Texter, Henry Wiles coming back to the Twins class. So this should be a lot of fun. I just wanted to get another quick little video out before Daytona actually comes to us this week. We're excited. The season is upon us, and hopefully we can do a little recap video after Bike Week's all said and done. But I know everybody's down there busy racing and getting ready to get this season underway. A huge thank you to American Flat Track for their support of us during this off season, doing some of those rider reels and getting to meet some of the competitors that you'll see at the Daytona Short Track. So I really appreciate them sharing that and their efforts in this sport. It does feel like we've got the vibes pretty high right now. I feel pretty excited for where the sport is going to be leading off the season, and hopefully we can just keep that momentum going upward and have a great year ahead of us. But thank you guys so much for checking this out. Thank you so much for watching our preview shows. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure you check those out and get a little insight into the season. Support all those shows and podcasts who are doing stuff for the sport, be it Sideways Podcast with myself and Kolby Carlile, Tank Slapping Podcast with Corey Texter and Eric Hartley, Off the Groove with Scotty Dubler, and Pipe Dreams with James Rispoli and Corey Alexander, Sammy Halbert with all the stuff that he's doing, How We Doing Roger That, Flat Track Factory. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of stuff around the sport. Going in Circles interviews has been really fun to watch on Instagram when Andrea's covering events at the races that she's at. So keep an eye out on those for when they post these interviews to their Instagram account. Just thank you to everybody that's getting involved in this sport and really helping sort of build the names and personalities of these riders and getting to showcase them. We're in for an exciting time, and Daytona is upon us. So everybody have a great week. Enjoy Bike Week. Enjoy all the racing, and take care of one another. We'll see you soon.